Guys, at this point it almost feels like we are doing it on purpose, doesn't it? Every single league game so far, we've left it late. The winning goal always seems to come in the final 10 minutes, sometimes even in the last breath of the match. And now, in our very first Champions League game, Atletico Madrid found out the hard way that no lead is safe against us. We let a 2-goal advantage slip, no problem. Virgil van Dijk steps up, rises above everyone, and smashes in a bullet header in the dying moments of the game. Of course, the dramatic ending is what everyone is going to be talking about. That last-minute winner grabs the headlines every time. But if you look past the drama, there's so much more to take from this game. The way we scored our first 2 goals, using a very similar setup, the long-awaited debut of Isak, and the promising link-up he showed with Wirtz. There's a lot to break down, so make sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and let's dive straight into the analysis. Like with any proper post-game breakdown, we start with the lineup. Alisson was between the posts as usual. On the left side, Andrew Robertson kept his spot, while Van Dijk and Konate formed their reliable partnership in the middle. On the right, Jeremy Frimpong made his return to the starting 11. In midfield, Gravenberch and Szoboszlai played as the double pivot, with Florian Wirtz given the freedom to push higher up in front of them. On the wings, Salah and Gakpo stretched the play, which came as no surprise. But the real talking point was the number 9. Alexander Isak, making his first start, was the name everyone had their eyes on. How did he do? We'll get to that very soon. But first, let's go back and see how we managed to tear apart Atletico with 2 goals in just 6 minutes. Now sure, we can admit that the first goal had a bit of luck to it. Robertson's free kick takes a deflection, and suddenly it's in the back of the net. But let's be clear about one thing. The build-up that led to that situation, there was nothing lucky about it. In fact, that move, along with the sequence that created our second goal, came down to one key idea: working the right half space. Let me break it down. Take a look at how narrow our fullbacks positioned themselves, with Isak, Szoboszlai, Gravenberch and Wirtz all operating in central areas. Atletico's defensive block had no choice but to stay compact. Their wide players were dragged inside to cover, and that shift opened up valuable time and space for our wingers, especially Salah. At the same time, Wirtz's smart off-ball movement pulled his marker out of position. That little run created gaps just behind Atletico's midfield line, right in that dangerous half space. So why did we set up this way? The answer is simple, and it's the reason we were able to unlock their defense more than once. We all know what Salah is capable of. Give him just a bit of time and space, and he can pick out passes that split defenses apart. By isolating him on the wing, we gave him exactly that: more freedom on the ball and a clearer view to spot runners breaking into the space Wirtz had opened up. And in this moment, the runner was Ryan Gravenberch. You can see how well Ryan read the situation. The second Wirtz dragged his man out of position, Gravenberch immediately darted into that empty pocket. Salah combined with Wirtz, then with his very first touch, slid the ball into Gravenberch's path. From there, Ryan drew the foul, and we all know how that free kick ended. That was our first goal. Now, you might think this was just a one-off trick, but it wasn't. The same pattern unfolded again only 2 minutes later, and this time it led directly to our second goal of the night. Let's break that one down. Once again, notice how Frimpong starts narrow and tucked inside, almost in line with Salah, but that shape doesn't stay for long. As soon as Salah drifts wider, everything changes. Frimpong locks onto the opposition's wide midfielder, which leaves Salah isolated 1 against 1 with their left back. And we all know how dangerous Salah can be in that situation. But it doesn't stop there. Frimpong then drops deeper, and that movement has a purpose. By pulling Atletico's block slightly out of shape, he creates even more space before pushing forward again on the overlap to support Salah. At the same time, Wirtz is keeping another midfielder busy in the central lane, which stretches Atletico even further. All of that movement is enough to open up the half space once more. Salah gets extra time on the ball, and then it's the quick, sharp combination play with Gravenberch that slices straight through their block. The result? Our second goal of the night. 2 goals up after just 6 minutes. Now that's the dream start, isn't it? And for most of the first half, we kept things under control, moving the ball well and keeping Atletico at bay. But even with all that, they still managed to find a way through and grab their first goal. If you take a look at this graph, it tells the story clearly. Most of Atletico's chances came from the right-hand side, and that's exactly where they found their breakthrough. Whether Atletico were building from settled possession or breaking after winning the ball back, Simeone's men had a clear plan. They kept looking for that pocket of space between Robertson and Van Dijk. And for their first goal, they didn't rush it. They actually played the ball backwards on purpose just to draw our block higher and open that channel to exploit. Watch how it unfolds. With Gakpo tracking back as an extra defender, Atletico recycle the ball and move it back. Robertson steps up, but that jump leaves a gap between him and Van Dijk. As soon as that space opens, it's a simple pass slipped in behind, and unfortunately, it ends up costing us. Even after halftime, they went back to the same idea. By overloading the right-hand side, they managed to release another runner through that very same channel. And that's where the bigger question comes in. We've seen Kerkez exposed on that side earlier in the season, and now it's Robertson struggling in similar situations. Is this really about the individual players, or is it something deeper in the system itself? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments. The second goal we conceded was one of those frustrating moments. A little bit of luck mixed with a fantastic strike from Llorente. And honestly, at this point, can we just sign the guy? Not even for what he can bring us, but just to stop him from scoring every single time he steps foot on Anfield with a Simeone side. Thankfully for us, Llorente wasn't the only inevitable force on the pitch. We had our own Thanos, Virgil van Dijk. When the game needs someone to take charge and drag the team over the line, he's the man. And once again, he rose above everyone and delivered a bullet header in the dying minutes to seal the win. And that's how it ended. 3 points on the board, the perfect way to kick off our Champions League campaign. That's the video wrapped up, right? Not quite, because we still haven't talked about Alexander Isak. Now, to be fair, expectations weren't sky high for him in this game. No pre-season tour, his very first competitive start, and naturally he looked a bit rusty. But even with all that, there were flashes of what he's capable of. From his link-up play to how he occupied spaces inside the box, you could already see the potential. And what really stood out was the chemistry building between him and Florian Wirtz, who, by the way, had his brightest performance yet in a Liverpool shirt. It's still early days, but the signs are promising. In one sequence, you can see both players reading each other perfectly, almost as if a quick glance was enough for them to know what the other was going to do. That kind of understanding is rare, and if it develops further, we might be looking at the beginning of a special partnership. So that wraps up our first Champions League night of the season, and what a game it was. From the early fireworks of going 2 goals up in 6 minutes, to the nervy moments of letting Atletico back in, and finally to Van Dijk reminding everyone why he's the captain with that last-minute winner. Nights like these are what European football is all about. Drama, goals, heartbreak, and then pure joy at the very end. But beyond the result, there's plenty for us to take away. The patterns in attack, the tactical adjustments, and of course the exciting glimpse of Isak linking up with Wirtz. It's only the start of the campaign, and the fact that we're already seeing these connections forming is something that should get all of us buzzing. If this is how the first game looks, imagine what's to come when the team really clicks. Now, we want to hear from you. What did you think of Isak's debut? Was Van Dijk your man of the match, or does someone else deserve the shout? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and as always, don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more breakdowns.